Fall break is over, but we've got all the latest in sports right here on In the Huddle. I'm Cecilio Ramirez, and I'm accompanied by my babyface co-host, Jacob Russell. Tell me, Jake, how is it that the first time I grow out some facial hair for the sports show, you don't have anything?
Well, they don't make it like that here in the States, but I have to admit, it's a little cold outside these days.
Right.
Today we'll recap all Cameron sports events from the past week. We've got updates on men and women's golf, as well as volleyball and cross country.
Plus, we'll be discussing the World Series, some NFL, and college football.
We'll see you in the huddle. Last week, we promised you results from the men's golf team's play in the Territory Classic. CU finished 7th in the tournament with a score of 600. Rain and wind were factors on day 1, followed by humidity on day 2. The Aggie women are currently hosting the same tournament and are in 8th place in the 12-team field. Junior Cass McGrath finished the first round with a score of 76. McGrath's score is CU's only score under 80 and tied her for 17th place. The men's golf team is participating in the Indian Bayou Classic in Dustin, Florida. Cameron is currently in 6th place out of 12 teams with a first-round score of 304. Michael Lee is tied for 6th place overall and was the top finisher with a score of 73. Both the Aggie men and women are playing for their final round of tournament play. We'll update you with the results on next week's show. And if you can't wait that long, check out our goaggies.cameron.edu for live statistics.
The Aggie volleyball team is coming off their first 5-set match win after losing a hard-fought match to the Charleston State Texans last Thursday. On Saturday, the Aggies defeated Texas A&M Kingsville 3-2. Many soldiers in uniform attended what was almost a 3-hour home event. After tying the match at 1-1, the Javelinas took control of set 3, but CU retied the match at 2-2 after winning set 4. Once the Aggies took the lead in the final set, they never looked back. Junior Laura Ellerbrock led Cameron in assists with a game high of 45 assists. Freshman Melissa Acton led the team with 17 kills on 45 attacks and also contributed a service ace as well as 3 defensive digs. The defensive leader of the match was senior Haley Hatch with 23 defensive digs. She also recorded a game high of 3 service aces. After a 1-1 record at home this past week, the Aggie volleyball team heads back to the road for a couple of weeks. The team's next match is against Eastern New Mexico next Thursday in Portales, New Mexico. The Aggies' next home match is scheduled for Tuesday, October 28th against Oklahoma Panhandle State. The Aggies are just shy of 500 with a record of 3-4 in the Lone Star Conference.
Cameron Cross Country is getting ready to compete in the Lone Star Conference Championship this Saturday. The team competed against the nation's best this past weekend in the annual Chili Pepper Festival race hosted by the University of Arkansas. Schools like Virginia Tech, Louisiana State, Texas Tech, and Nebraska all competed in this year's event. Cameron's team score of 647 was enough to finish 22nd out of 30 NCAA teams. Head coach Matt Aguirre said the Aggies placed higher than he expected, having to rest a lot of players who are still out with mononucleosis. Last year, CU finished the event in 26th place out of 36 teams. The cross-country team ran a total of 5 players in their first 10-kilometer race of the season. Sophomore Mohamed Khalifa repeated his role as a top runner with a 107th place finish. The Chili Pepper Festival was his first 10-kilometer race and finished with a time of 32:26.90, averaging about 5:14 per mile. The race was Cameron's last regular season event and the season event of the season, and depending on how the team does in this LSC meet will determine how the Aggies should be represented in the NCAA South Central Regional Championship. The Regional Championship meet will be held on Saturday, November 8th in San Antonio, Texas.
Got a couple different things to talk about in today's Ad-Lib. First to start off is something that we both should have been playing in if we wouldn't have got injured,
right.
And that's the World Series. We picked Tampa Bay to win, and they're going to be playing against the Phillies. What do you think about that game?
I think it's Tampa Bay's season. It's the first time they've had a winning record. It's the first time they've won a division, and it's the first time they've won a pennant all in 1 year. So why not cap it off and win a World Series? I really think it's destiny.
Yeah, they're the young team and they're underdog, and I'm hoping they come out on top as well.
Yeah, and Evan Longoria came in his first playoffs ever, his rookie season. Tied the record for consecutive games in the playoffs with a home run at 5. So I don't think they're intimidated at all. And it's been a while since the Phillies have been in the World Series, I think since 1993. was the last time they were there, and who can forget the infamous Joe Carter game-winning home run that lost in the World Series. But I definitely think it's the Rays to lose. Their pitching is just too strong, and their defense is too solid.
And I think the Phillies are missing a lot in their ex-phenom Manny Ramirez. You know, but they still have a lot of sluggers like Victorino and other players that, I mean, could make it a close series.
But yeah, they've got MVP Jimmy Rollin, MVP Ryan Howard, Chase Utley. I mean, anytime you've got 3 different MVPs on one team, you know your lineup's going to be stacked. You know it's going to be solid. But their problem rests in the fact that they have one ace, Cole Hamels. Tampa Bay has 3. You know, after they get through Cole Hamels, Brett Myers really has to step it up, and he hasn't really proven that he can do that. I mean, we'll see. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll be looking for a great World Series. Usually people don't watch baseball until the World Series comes, so now's the time to watch. Let's switch the topic a little bit. Another crazy week in football. NFL, you got Reggie Bush out with a knee, gonna be knee surgery, so he's gonna be out about 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, he had to go see the infamous Dr. Andrews. Anytime someone goes to see Dr. James Andrews, it's never usually good.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because Reggie Bush was starting off a year this year. I mean, he's getting thrown to, he's getting rushing yards. I mean, he's playing like Adrian Peterson was last year. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's got more receptions in his first 4 years than anybody in NFL history. So that just shows you everyone's complaining that he may not be such a hard-nosed runner up the field, but they're finding the ways to put a ball into a playmaker's hands.
Yeah,
and what more can you ask for? What more can you ask for?
Of course. The other big dilemma in the NFL right now is 49ers fired head coach Mike Nolan. You think that was the right decision?
Definitely. They weren't responding. Like, he did a great job of building something from nothing. Before he got there, the 49ers were in turmoil. Not saying they're out of it, but at least he set a nice blueprint and set up Mike Singletary with a solid team. And just interesting note, 3 coaches have already been fired in this NFL season, all Western Conference teams from either the AFC or the NFC, but all West Coast teams. I just thought that was a little weird.
Yeah, Mike Singletary is going to be taking over as head coach, and he's a guy that's known for his leadership. He was a middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears. And
stud.
Yeah, he's also known for his intensity and anticipation.
His eyes.
Yeah.
If he looks at you with those eyes, that's one guy I would never want to do wrong. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, hopefully he'll do a better job than Mike Nolan was, and he won't have such a short term there. Another thing we want to talk about is college football. A lot of switches.
BCS standings. It's the first BCS polls of the year. You can't complain. 1 through 4 stacks up pretty much the same way in all the polls. Texas, undisputed. You know they're going to be number 1. Yeah. Penn State, number 3. Alabama's still holding strong at number 2. They didn't have that really as strong of a showing, but that's not their style of football. They're not the type of team that puts up a bunch of points. They're just going to tough, hard nose, up the middle, run it over you, and they're going to win, bottom line. I think it's an interesting note to put OU, OSU, and Tulsa are all in the same poll for the first time since 1963, or no, in 63 years. How about, excuse me, 63 years.
Messing up on your stats there, stats guy.
I know.
Anyway, let's turn back to NFL real quick. Last night was the 600th birthday. You know, 600 episodes of Monday Night Football, and it's been a successful career. Another thing we want to start doing on the show is we're going to start picking our top players. My top player is the 5-year running back out of Oregon State. Now plays for St. Louis Rams.
Holding it down for the Beavers.
Yeah, he had a phenomenal game against the Dallas Cowboys. Ran for a career high of 3 touchdowns, about 169 yards, I believe. Had a stellar game. Who was your pick this week?
Well, I'm going to throw a curveball on that, and I'm going to go back to baseball. I'm going to have to go with Tampa Bay's Game 7 starter, Matt Garza. Yeah. He had a little scuffle with catcher Donder Navarro in the middle of the season, and since then he's pretty much been lights out. 7 innings, 2 earned runs, and really sealed the deal in a Game 7 that Tampa Bay really needed to win.
Yeah, he did. Well, you heard our buzzer, which means it's time to wrap it up here at the CUTV studio. Make sure you check out this show as well as a brand new Film Geek show on YouTube.com. Just type CUInternetTV with no spaces, and you'll see all our shows.
We also have a lot of special programming never before seen on our CUTV channel. This week we'll be premiering our Spanish soap opera entitled PU.
Be on the lookout for that. That's Pasión Universitaria. And our live coverage on election night. On November 4th, make sure you watch the plasmas around campus for our live broadcast starting at 4 in the afternoon until the actual winner is decided.
That's right. They're letting us do just about everything up here this year.
Everything.
Oh, well, I'm Jacob Russell alongside Cecilia Ramirez. Until next time, we'll see you in the huddle.